Welcome back to McKinsey Woodworking and a restoration of a camper trailer. What we will be starting off with is we'll be fiberglassing a roof on this camper trailer, and all the materials have been supplied by Independent Marine Supply Store, and they've supported us to bring this project to you. So come on up and visit them. They're in Mid-Island Marine Center at 2451 Alberni Highway in beautiful central Vancouver Island. And they've just completed a massive renovation to the store, and it is lovely, all sparkling and shiny new. They've been in business for 30 years, so they've got the know-how and the ability to get you back on track. They've got sounders and radios and fish finders. They've got everything that you'd need to repair your boat in fiberglass mat and epoxy and polyester resins and all the hardeners and waxes that you need to complete a project. They've got all the fittings in the store. It's also a great place to go if you have an RV and you're doing some work to your RV. They've got all the newest and lights that are available, and the LED lights, and they got 12-volt panel systems, and they've got wiring and fittings and a great assortment of stainless steel. So come on up and see them and see their new store and their offerings. Had to take my helper for a swim this morning before we start the project, and I'm just showing you some recaps of the previous video. We have our plywood on. That was a 3/8 for exterior sheeting, so we've got that all on and glued and screwed down, and then we saturated it. We mixed up some polyester resin with the catalyst, and this is just a full saturation. You just want to cover all this and seal off all the plywood. And what this will do is, if you're late in the later part of the day, it'll stop any moisture from getting on it. Fiberglass resins do not like moisture, so this will seal it all off. And if the dew's heavy, we'll just give it a blow off in the morning, and once the sun hits it, it'll be fine. It'll dry right up. But we're just giving that a good saturation and all the joints and everything. And then on the next day, we'll just give it all a sand and get ready to fill all the holes and all the joints. What you want to do is fill all the joints between the plywood, and that'll stop the resin from going down into the voids and being pulled out of your mat. You basically want all the resin to sit on top of the plywood and go into the mat. We use a lightweight auto body filler. It's a Bondo, and it's polyester resin base, so it's compatible with the fiberglass and resin that we're using. So here we just mixed it up. So I'm doing this one-handed, just basically to show you how we coat the joints. And we just slather that on, and then just spread everything. And if there's any cuts or anything in plywood, we'll fill all those. We'll fill all the holes. Any empty knots, you don't want a hole left underneath your mat, because the resin will drop down into that, and it won't be on top of your mat. So you want to get them all filled. Here we are, and they're all filled. And now what I'll do is I'll just go around everything with a belt sander, and this is a 36 grit as well. And we go right over all the plywood and all the joints and everything. And if we have any screws that are protruding through the top, you'll notice the sparks, and we can either sand them off or screw them down a little bit farther. I'll just continue to get this done. Just back to a little bit more bondoing again. At this stage of the game, I like to take my time and make sure that your substrate is really done well, that you don't have any voids, you don't have any bumps or anything, because this will all telegraph through the mat and through the top, and it's hard to repair later. So what I'm showing you here is the the 2 drip caps that we'll be applying to the sides of the trailer. This will be the bottom portion. You can see how it's rounded on both sides. So in our previous video, we put mat on it. And here we have, so it's been applied to the trailer. I screwed and glued that to the side of the trailer, and I use an exterior subfloor glue to fasten it on, a polyurethane glue. And we filled the screw holes, and I've just done up to the ladder, but I'll show you how we apply that. So once that's on, because we've wrapped the fiberglass on the bottom to 3/4 of the way up the side, we're using another 4-inch piece. Now just come off the top of the roof and down onto the drip flash. And what this does is that when we're laying the mat on the top of the roof, we actually don't have to worry about bringing it down and over the sides and working with that. We can do it in stages. So we've had 3 stages here of laying mat. First, the bottom of the drip flash, which you can see, and then we've done the top portion with a 4-inch, and that's the wrap. It's a lot easier working with just a 4-inch piece than the entire roof. You can see here it's nice and smooth now, and there's our 4-inch piece that we did on the top and rolled it right over the edge. And we're just double checking to make sure all our voids and all our joints and everything are filled at this point. And I'll give this a good clean and sweep, and we blew it off. And so I just rolled out my mat. The mat comes 1 meter wide. This is 1.5 ounce fiberglass mat. And we have 1.5 inch overlap in the joint that goes all the way down the center. And if this was a deck that you're walking on or seeing, what I would do is tear that edge and the edge underneath so that it would taper out and down onto the deck, and there'd be a minimum amount of sanding. But because this is a roof on a travel trailer, we don't have to be as concerned on appearance. So there's 1.5 inch overlap on that, and I'm just placing it all in on the other side. We're back about 1/2 inch from the edge. And we'll just lay a chalk line on this and just take a razor knife and cut this all the way along. So there's our mark. You can see we're back about 3/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. And I've just used a chalk to make a mark on it, and we're just cutting it off with a utility knife. And you can see the edge, it's already glass. So we're just glassing up to the edge that we rounded over on. This makes it a lot simpler if you're only have done this once. Doing it in these 3 different stages on your drip is important. It's a lot easier for you. You're not mixing up big batches of resin. You're able to control your working speed and area. So it's a good way to get it done. Some people would drape that right over and then just cut it off flush with the bottom. But then you're dealing with grinders and a mess of resin pouring down on the deck and everything else. So this just makes for a cleaner job. As you can see, then we're only going to be resining to there. And then we can marry that in, and it'll come out quite nice. And the important thing is not to pour the resin on the mat. You'll get a great big clump in the center of it. You want to dip it, so either you're using trays or a pail. You just want to dip your roller into that and then bring it up onto the surface. And if I have a joint, the first thing I'll do is when the roller is wet, I'll saturate that joint, because the joint has two layers that you're trying to get the resin to soak into. So once the resin goes into that, and then I'll go back and roll it on. But I'll just keep going back and forth. And the object here is to get the resin to... You really want to take time and saturate your joint, because you are trying to get the resin to go right through both of them. And you're looking for it to go translucent, getting all that matte saturated. Some people will suggest that you add color, so that you'll have a base color to match your gel coat, your final coat. I don't agree with that. I like just using natural resin, and that's so that you can see the base that you're putting on. So if there's any problem with air pockets, or if there's any water or dirt or debris, you'll be able to see that. And if you want to pick it out or do something else, you've got that. As you can see, I'm trying to give you a close-up there of the way that it will go translucent. And you'll notice on your rollers too, whenever I finish a run and I know that's it, I'll back roll that area. So basically the entire roof surface or deck surface will be back rolled one way. And your rollers, you'll notice that they'll lay down paint or material better one way than the other. So determine if you're going to do it frontwards or backwards. Usually back rolling will give you a nice coat. And I'll just keep going back and forth on it until I'm happy with the saturation and the bonding there. Don't be tempted to pour the resin on. You want to dip this in your pail or your paint tray, and just as if you're painting a wall, you wouldn't take a cup at a time and throw it at the wall, then try and spread it around. So it's the same with this, same application. I'm just moving all the way down the deck, and if you notice in the bucket there's about 3 inches in the bucket, and that's what I use with all our jobs. You don't really want to mix up more than that. That's about a 3/4 of a gallon resin at a time. You can see that I put the roller into it and give it a swish around, constantly moving that resin, because the catalyst is making it hot and is heating it up. So whenever you put your roller in, you want to move it around. And it's called keeping it alive. You want to keep your resin alive. So I'm just dragging that up and getting some resin on the deck. And you always want to keep a wet edge. It's the same as painting. Keep that edge wet. And then what I'll do is I'll move around to the other side. I didn't want to roll right through to this side. I could have reached it, but I'm not able to see my overlap there. And I like to work above it so that I can see that it's getting coated and laying down properly. So I have a saturation on the other side, and it's completely saturated all the way down, and that's to the top of the drip edge. So I moved to the other side and got that done, and now I've back on the initial side that we started. And as you can see, looking through the mat, That is, there's no white showing in it. There's no bubbles or anything. It's laid down flat. So we'll just continue to put the resin on this and saturate it all the way through. In this application that you're watching, it's just not holiday trailers. You can do this for utility trailer roofs. Anything that you want a good sturdy roof on, you can use the exact same application. And it's the same way we do bolts. We do deck tops and floors and gunnels and top rails. I'm just laying out a mat there to try and get it focused for the camera. That's where the opening will be for the skylight. So once we get that focus, I'll just go around to the inside and cut that out. And it's already been framed out for a 22 by 22 skylight. We have two openings that will be coming through this deck. The skylight and the roof vent, which will be in the back corner. But I use a oscillating saw for that, and I'll just cut that in from the pre-framed curb on the inside. Here we are. You can see that I've started it, and it's cutting right through. And don't expect your blade to be much good for anything else after this. The glass fibers of the mat don't play kindly to teeth on tools. I usually put the blades after I'm done cutting or something. We'll use it for rough work or for scraping off things. And I was telling you the other applications that you can do this with. If you want to do a deck on your home, it's the exact same principle. Put down your plywood, fill it, do your joints, your screw holes, and your drip cap, and your edges and your rails and your cant along your house, so that the mat rolls up onto your walls, and you'll have a 25-year deck. I did my own deck in my own home 28 years ago, and it's still in good condition. We've had like 5 dogs over it, 3 kids and all their friends, and a few parties on them, and they're still like new. Here I am just popping through the vent. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and follow along and watch the completion of the holiday trailer project and the completion of this roof. So our next portion will be doing the top coat and the curbs and installing the skylights. Thank you very much, and please subscribe and share this to your friends, and see you in the next video.